Of the approximately 35,000 choices we make every day, many of them impact other people. Of course, it's inevitable that over a period of a few days or weeks, we're going to mess up with some of these choices, and we could potentially hurt, offend, or even damage other people. When this happens, we could be fracturing trust that it's taken a long time to build. The good news is there are ways to rebuild and repair fractured trust. In the last Lead in the Moment conversation, I introduced you to the idea of the four-step apology that heals fractured trust. It's such a powerful tool, and the results when people use it are so stunning that I've been wondering why leaders don't use apology more frequently as a trust-building tool. And it's not only leaders I wonder about, because in relationships too, we've been raised to believe love stories, love is never having to say you're sorry, which of course is so wrong. Love is feeling secure enough in your relationship to be able to say sorry frequently. So why then are people so resistant to heartfelt apologizing? And I believe it might stem from a confusion of the idea of vulnerability with the idea of weakness. We've been raised to believe that exposing weakness in business can lead to being exploited. And we think of apology as showing weakness, but apology isn't weakness. Apology is vulnerability. And being vulnerable when appropriate isn't weakness at all. Weakness is giving in to somebody else's pressure or capitulating to their demands to avoid conflict. Vulnerability is different. Nathaniel Hawthorne wrote that the greatest obstacle to being heroic is the fear that one may be making a fool of oneself. Vulnerability is the courage to overcome this fear. Vulnerability is the readiness to risk the perfection of one's image for the integrity of one's values. I recently saw a rather well-dressed woman at the beach wade into the ocean to give a hand to an elderly man who seemed to be struggling against the current to walk back to shore. She could have fallen and gotten terribly wet, or it could have turned out that the man didn't need her help at all. Either way, she might have made a fool of herself. But that fear didn't factor into her choice to step in and help. She was okay, it seemed, to be vulnerable to the possibility of her image taking a bash, because that's what her values demanded of her. Weakness comes from a place of fear. Vulnerability comes from a place of courage. Apology when one has wronged someone is not an act of weakness at all, but an expression of courage. To apologize, one must overcome the fear of losing image, a fear which, like most fears, is in any case unlikely to materialize. When I've needed to apologize and find it hard, that happens very often, I use the following process. Number one, I think to myself, what is the most I could lose by apologizing sincerely? Number two, how serious would that loss be? Number three, how could I lose it by not apologizing? What would I lose by not apologizing? And number four, what could I gain by apologizing? And then it's quite easy. Apologies very rarely go wrong, but if you have stories of an apology that went horribly wrong, particularly if there's humor in it, I would love to hear about it. So please do stay in touch, stay connected, and stay safe.